So this is like really important to know. Well, essentially, there are several ways to depreciate an asset or a group of assets. Um, Obviously, straight line, double decline, unit activity, variable change, as well as composite group, and sum of years method. Um, the important things to know about the differences between those is that most of those methods would multiply the depreciable rate with the depreciable base. But double declining um, doesn't. Double declining would actually, as well as composite actually. So double declining and composite would actually multiply by the original cost. So then, when it comes to partial years of depreciation, like for example in this example, um, you guys can see here July 31st, 2020, December 31st. So it was put into service in July. So the full month of July would be depreciated. So like there would be 6 months of year one, which would have like depreciation at the rate of 33%. So for example, for that year, the first year, you would see annual depreciation of, well, if it was a full year, it would be 3,333 cents. But because it's half the year, the annual, because it's only half of that year, you'll only see $1,666.67 of annual depreciation. So the book value at the end of the year would be $8,333. By the next year, it would be a full year, January 1st, 2021, December 31st, 2021, for the next year. But it would be prorated, as in like, because like the full year of the previous year wasn't used at that rate, the first half of the year would actually be at the rate of the previous year, the half of that year, for that, if that makes any sense. So like, half of the year would be at 33% times the depreciable base. Right. And then the rest of the half of the year would be at the new depreciable rate, which would be, using sum of years depreciation, would be 26% times the depreciable base. The fixed depreciable base. This is a fixed base. Okay. So then, the annual depreciation see it being 3.3 final 2 6.67, and the new rate 1,000. divided by 2. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. So annual depreciation would be 3,000. So then the book value would be 5,000. And so on and so forth. Like half a year until year 6. Well, year 6, but there's only 5 useful years. But technically, by 2025, 6 years after 2020, it would be technically 5 years at that point. But the thing to note is that with double decline, like for example, if this was double declining depreciation, okay, but it's not. But like let's say it is. For example, well, you would first calculate the double declining rate, straight line, divided by 5, 20% times 2, which is double declining 40%. So the 40%, which is the double declining depreciation. The first year, 40% times the book value. But the thing is like, I'll divide by 2. So the annual depreciation is 2,000 for the first year. So now the book value is 8,000. So like, here's the thing about double decline, because like every other method except for like group, well, with group, I do believe that with group it is the original cost, but that original cost is sort of like fixed, as in like the it's sort of like straight line where it's like that's the fixed number, and then you calculate the depreciation of each of those years. So the annual depreciation would change, even though like a year after year the depreciable base has changed. The thing about double decline depreciation is that the book value has changed because of depreciation. So every year, the double declining rate is going to be multiplied by the new book value each year. If that makes any sense. So then, like, for example, by year 2, technically, you'll see like actually. Let's see, what will be the same. Let's see. Oh, okay. So 8,000 times 40%. Okay, so like, is there, let's see, double times. declining straight line. Okay, so it's only for sum of years actually. When there's a prorate for if half, for example, if half the year has been used, half the year has been depreciated at that prorate, and then the next year that prorate remains for the next year, the first next half of the year, for example, and then the next half of that year is going to be at the rate of the next summer year.